Number 10. Ani in Armenia. Ani is a ruined medieval Armenian city site located in the Turkish province of Kars, near the border with Armenia. The city first rose to prominence in the 5th century AD, when it kind of was in the right place between a bunch of trade routes, and its many religious buildings and palaces and fortifications and all that jazz were said to be some of the most technically and artistically advanced structures in the world. The city was nicknamed the City of 1001 Churches, probably because it had loads of churches. It's not a terribly good nickname, but it'll do. It remained the chief city of Armenia until an earthquake in 1319, when unfortunately also there were some Mongol raids and shifting trade routes, and kind of eventually led to its decline, and the city was eventually abandoned and largely forgotten for centuries, with its ruins rediscovered recently in Turkey. Number 9. Palmyra in Syria. Palmyra was once an important city in central Syria. It had long been a vital caravan city for travellers crossing the Syrian desert and was known as the Bride of the Desert. Starting in 202, not 2002, 202, we're talking old history here, Palmyra's trade diminished as the Sassanids occupied it, with a Roman emperor building a wall and expanding the city to save it from the Sassanid threat. Sassanids, they've just got too much sass, beware. The city was then captured by Muslim Arabs in 634, but kept intact. It ultimately declined under Ottoman rule and was eventually practically deserted. During the 17th century, its location was rediscovered by Western travellers. Number 8. Pompeii in Italy. At some point during August 24th of 79 AD, the volcano Vesuvius erupted, covering nearby towns with ash and soil. Pompeii got it very, very badly though. The city was abandoned, with its name and location eventually forgotten for a long, long time. The ash, which took many lives, preserved the two towns in perfection for 1700 years. Pompeii was rediscovered as the result of excavations in the 18th century, with the lost city providing an extraordinarily detailed insight into the lives of people living there 2,000 years ago. Number 7. Ctesiphon in Rome. Ctesiphon was the imperial capital of the Parthian Empire and the Sasanian Empire. During the 6th century, it was one of the largest cities in the world, and because of its importance, it was a major military objective for the Roman Empire. It was captured by Rome and later by the Byzantine Empire more than 5 times. The city fell to Muslims during the Islamic conquest of Persia in 637. Then, after the founding of the Abbasid capital at Baghdad during the 8th century, the city went into decline and became a ghost town. Now located southeast of the modern city of Baghdad, Iraq, the only remaining visible part of it today is the Arch Taki Kisra. And you'll have to forgive me for my pronunciation with some of these names, because my word, there's lots of them, and they're very, very strange. Number 6. Ephesus, Turkey. Ephesus was a Greek city in ancient Anatolia, founded by colonists from Athens during the 10th century BC. Also the site of a large gladiator graveyard. Gladiator! I've seen that one. I know what we're on about here. The city became known for the Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The city fell when it came under the control of the Roman Republic in 129 BC, when it had a population of 33,000 to 56,000 people. Not bad. Number 5. Palenque in Mexico. Palenque became one of the lost cities of the Mayan. Although much smaller than other cities of its time, it featured extremely impressive architecture and sculptures. Most structures in Palenque dated from about 600 AD to 800 AD, but the city did decline seriously during the 8th century. An agricultural population continued to live there for a few generations, then the lost city was abandoned and was slowly grown over by forest. Its ruins lay undiscovered until the 18th century. Franz Blom, an early to mid-20th century investigator, said, "The first visit to Palenque is immensely impressive. When one has lived there for some time, this ruined city becomes an obsession." Says a man who was clearly obsessed with it. But why not? We've all got to have hobbies. Number 4. Timgad, Algeria. Timgad was a Roman colonial town in Algeria founded by the Emperor Trajan around 100 AD. Originally designed for a population of around 15,000, the city quickly outgrew its original specifications and exceeded the grid. The city disappeared from history, becoming one of the lost cities of the Roman Empire. Now this is when the sands of the Sahara covered the site and preserved the city until its rediscovery in 1881. Now the ruins of the city give a fascinating insight into Roman cities of the African provinces, with the ruins noteworthy for representing one of the best examples of the grid plan as used in Roman city planning. Number 3. Tikal in Guatemala. Tikal is the ruins of an ancient city found in a rainforest in Guatemala between 200 to 900 AD. It was the largest Mayan city at the time, with an estimated population of between 100,000 to 200,000 people. As the city reached peak population, the area around the city suffered, with deforestation and erosion that led to a swift decline in population levels. After 950, Tikal was all but deserted, with the rainforest claiming the ruins for the next 1,000 years. An expedition found the Tikal in 1848 and saw almost perfect preservation of the city. They discovered one of the largest surviving New World archaeological sites, with royal palaces, a playing arena for the Mayan ball game, and most notably, pyramids up to 70 meters high. Number 2. Petra in Jordan. Petra is located in Jordan near the Dead Sea and is believed to have once been the center of the Nabatean caravan trade. Its most striking feature is its exquisite stone architecture, which is carved out of the rocks of the surrounding mountains. Consequently, this helped make Petra a naturally fortified city when it was established as a capital in 100 BC. Evidence suggests that it housed several technological advancements like dams and cisterns, stuff that we take for granted these days, which helped inhabitants to channel the region's flash floods and store water for use in times of drought. Following hundreds of years of prosperity, the city went into decline after Romans conquered the region. An earthquake in 363 AD destroyed several of its buildings and crippled its infrastructure. Because of this, Petra was eventually abandoned, and it stood for years in the desert before being discovered in 1812 by a Swiss explorer. Number 1. Machu Picchu in Peru. One of the most famous lost cities in the world is Machu Picchu, which was rediscovered in 1911 by a Hawaiian historian after it lay hidden for centuries above the Urubamba Valley. The pre-Columbian Inca city located on a mountain ridge is often referred to as the Lost City of the Incas. The site was designated as a World Heritage Site in 1983 when it was described as an absolute masterpiece of architecture and a unique testimony to the Inca civilization. Machu Picchu was constructed around 1450 at the height of the Inca Empire and was abandoned less than 100 years later, with the empire collapsing under Spanish conquest. Over the centuries, the surrounding jungle took over the site, which is invisible from below and completely self-contained, surrounded by agricultural terraces and watered by natural springs. There has been much speculation pertaining as to what the city was used for, as well as why the Incas chose to build it in such a strange location. Some say it's a holy temple of sorts, whilst others say it was used as a prison. The leading theory is that it was a royal retreat for the Inca Emperor Pachacuti. Now, while you're all here, who fancies a trip to try and find El Dorado? Thanks everyone for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. For more top 10 lists, be sure to subscribe by clicking on the button that you can see now.